It's March 20th, the first day of spring, and you're listening to another episode of Bites Over Bagels! Welcome to episode 5 of Bites Over Bagels. With me in the studio, as always, is one Miss Heather Brown.
It's lovely to be here today, kids.
One Mr. Brett Mackey.
I have an announcement.
Ooh.
And Chicago's favorite nemesis, one Mr. Dave Seidler.
That's my name, people.
And I'm your MC, John Osler. We have a great show for you guys today. We are in the studio with Amanda Lannert, who is the CEO of Jellyvision. What's the name of this game they have?
You don't know Jack.
You don't know
Remember
Jack?
that? DVD,
from the 90s?
CD-ROM?
I love that
CD-ROM.
They also did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, like the DVD game, and a few really cool games. But they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And her interview today, we're talking a lot about company culture and recruiting and, man, dynamic interview.
Very impressive interview. Top 5 of 5 shows we've done.
Easily top 5. Easily top 5.
Big statement.
Subtle.
Heather, you have got to open your eyes this morning.
Ooh, an
Legs
early,
swept.
early morning snipe.
She's just so tired.
Yeah, keep your ears on
know.
Heather this morning. She is a droopy dog.
Wah, wah.
It's like a
Can't
roast.
catch a break.
Yeah, it's a Heather roast.
Moving on.
The other thing that's kind of a cool thing is Apple selected Bites Over Bagels as a
Yes.
new and noteworthy podcast. Believe it or not.
Congratulations to
Taking
us.
over the world,
Well,
basically.
Dang,
We're
so,
10 years late, but we're on board.
That's right. That's right. And so now, not only are there Chicago tech listeners, there are national and international listeners. We've got a lot of subscribers coming in from all parts of the land. We're kind of getting a big deal. I already started wearing all black turtlenecks every day and jeans.
There's a few
Black
listeners
jeans.
from
With accents
Montana.
of yellow.
Did you see that?
Bites over bagels.
Oh, really? Down on the ranch.
Down on
It's
the
like
ranch.
Annie Pack.
That's like Kill Bill style.
I know.
Bruce Lee, yellow and black. I never even thought about
Precisely.
that. We should get him on the show. Oh, too soon. Too soon. We got a great show for you guys this morning, so we're going to get on to it. The title of today's episode is...
Oh.
Today's show is sponsored by Uber.com. New Uber users, head over to BitesOverBagels.com for a promo code that gets you $15 off your first black car ride.
It's now part of the show we call The Bagel Bite. It's our Chicago and national news segment. Brett, why don't you kick us off here? What do you got?
I got a story coming from Seattle, actually. Very cool. Nike has banded together with Techstars. Shout out to Troy Hennicoff, a recent interviewee. So, yeah, they have a location in Seattle, and they just announced their accelerator winners for 10 companies are going to be working on apps for the Fuel Band, which is pretty sweet. Nike's been doing a lot of cool
the
work.
Fuel Band.
Yeah, the Fuel Band. Anybody got a Fuel Band?
I do not.
You do not have a Fuel Band?
Don't have one. My brother does.
Yeah?
Loves it. I think it's so cool.
Is he pretty fit?
He's pretty fit. He's taken a lot of steps.
My parents...
Good work,
Yeah,
Dave's
yeah,
brother.
yes.
My parents have the Fitbits.
Yeah.
They love the Fitbits.
Do they?
I'm always hearing these, like, how many miles, how many stairs they've climbed. They got stats for me now. My parents have stats.
Yeah.
Wow.
My mom is furious with my dad about talking about the Fitbit.
Oh, I love it.
I mean,
I love it. I gotta hear it. I go home for the holidays. I gotta hear the steps.
yeah,
What are we at?
my dad's taking 12,000 steps, and he has to walk to the end of the block just to meet his quota for the day.
I like that. I like that. He's gonna live.
One
He's gonna
more
live to
lap
180
must
years old.
make.
That's true.
Fitbit will make us all live very long.
Yeah. And the Fitbit has the NFC reader in it, doesn't it? I think it does.
That may be true.
For
That may be
the
true.
for the Android app. Yeah,
Oh,
it does. So, which is a
nice.
step above what Nike's doing. Nike took
Uh-oh, Nike,
well,
where
yeah,
you is.
they decided just to roll iOS. So,
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's true.
It is kind of interesting. But I was trying to think of my own ideas for this accelerator project, and I was like, well, you know what? I'd like to be able to pick up a donut with an edible NFC chip in it, and it just tells me to put that damn thing down.
Yeah.
You know?
Shock therapy.
Yeah, right. But anyway.
All right, Dave, what do you got for us? That was pretty good.
I don't know if I can top that.
Yeah, no one's topping that
I
today.
don't know. Breaking news, Apple hires CTO from Adobe.
Yes.
What do we think about this?
Ooh.
Bold.
Yeah,
Bold
big move.
That's pretty interesting, though. I mean, if you consider who's writing the best software for Apple computers anyway, how can it not be Adobe? Please.
Yeah.
Please tell me someone who's making better software than Adobe right now.
Awkward
Don Bora.
silence. Pause.
Ooh, that was awesome. That was nice
Big.
plug.
That was big.
All right, so I got one for you guys here. There is a project being funded on Indiegogo. And what are they up to here? How much are they?
They're up to 37,000.
Dang.
Approximately.
And so
Out
what
of
they
their 10,000 goal.
Oh, well, so
Yeah.
that's
that's
clearly it's
legit.
going to get funding. And the deal is this, they're attempting to make a new QWERTY keyboard for touch devices. And this thing is laid out sort of in a strip, and it uses autocorrection heavily to get the words you want out. So hopefully that doesn't result in too many errors.
So it's like it's a single row of characters. There's no
Yeah.
stacked. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's laid out kind of like a piano, I think.
Yeah,
It's
looks like
so you just have one row to worry about, and so they are attempting to revolutionize the keyboard again. And if you guys are familiar, I think the last person to take a stab at that was Dvorak. Do you guys know the Dvorak keyboard layout? It's it's a technologist. If you guys, there's another podcast out in the iTunes universe called Twit, TWIT, This Week in Tech. And this Dvorak character is actually on there every week, if you guys ever wanted to tune in. But yeah, there's been this sort of attempt to make a better keyboard since our current keyboard we use was meant for like typewriters. It was meant for never making any errors. Like all the keys are kind of spaced out, and it's not the most efficient way of entering words.
Well, it looks like the original QWERTY layout originated in the 1870s. So I think
Wow,
we're
time
due.
for a refresh.
That would be probably pre-Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't
Was
know. Borderline.
Do we remember?
Friendster, though. Friendster was still
Yeah,
around
you're
then. And that concludes today's Bagel Bite.
Today's Bagel Bite is brought to you by NYC Bagel Deli Catering. Get some kettle baked goodness today.
Good.
Today's feature interview is with the CEO of Jellyvision Labs, Amanda Lannert. Thanks for coming to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Ooh, we're excited.
Yes. So what is Jellyvision Labs for those kids who just, you know what, they're not in the know?
Jellyvision is the spawn of a gaming company in the 90s that made virtual game show hosts and properties like You Don't Know Jack and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But whereas they made virtual game show hosts, we make virtual advisors, guidance counselors, teachers, insurance agents, brokers, you name it, to make help companies that are selling complicated and important stuff that's a little bit boring, make that stuff engaging and interesting and helpful so that people can learn and make better decisions online.
So how do you make sure that your technology and business model are aligned when you go to market?
I think the only thing I can say that we do is we really listen. We're at a stage of the game, and we're capitalized well enough from our own profits that the only thing we're afraid of is not knowing the truth, because we can change our pricing, we can change our offering, we can change our product, we can build new tech. We just need to know the truth. So we go to the market, we ask for feedback, and we listen really openly. And when we get negative feedback, we take it seriously and try to get better.
So what do you feel like is the next interactive conversation? Like, are we talking holograms, like Star Wars? Like, what is the future?
The way we look at it is we're replacing the conversations that you can't easily have anymore with expert people, where you need help, you want someone to walk you through something. We're building sort of virtual conversations that give you that advice, give you that personalization, and make you feel smarter so you can make a good decision. I think there are two areas in which Jellyvision can really help. One is in college financial planning. The amount of debt that people get into without understanding the implications of defaulting on a government loan, the number of bankruptcies, the amount of debt that follows people for a year. I think we can really help with that education. And I also think for other people not going to school necessarily, retirement planning, estate planning, getting the education you need to know to manage your 401k or manage getting out of debt. The future is also just in anything with your phone, getting really great brief interactive experiences on your phone where you get smarter while you're also watching TV, while you're also on the go, but just having little bursts of great education, I think, through your phone is something everyone needs to be able to access. I hate all that hologram shit. I really do. All this like talking head shit. It's like, all this effort and having these really horrible visual experiences where the whole time you're just aware of this super awful visual experience. Write better, design better, think more about the user and less whatever like superficial presentation layer you're able to like push pixels into. It starts with the user and what they want to learn. I'm not like holograms like whatever.
I like that.
Yeah, we're using that.
That's right.
That's
Yeah, we're
unfortunate.
using
that.
Your other answer was good, but that was real good.
Everyone is talking about culture. So, number one, what is your secret sauce, and how do you make coming to work not suck?
There is no secret sauce. Culture, first of all, isn't a series of activities. It's the way people treat each other day in and day out, how they meet, how they exchange ideas and information, how they greet each other. That's culture. So it's not like invent 15 holidays and get a ping pong table. That's just bullshit. And culture is only about hiring. It's people. It's just who you hire and how they treat each other. And there's no secret sauce. Just get great people that are either irreverent or funny or hardworking or work-life balance. You get people of an ilk and hire consistently, and you'll have a great culture.
Is there a reason companies aren't grasping that now? I mean, there's so many companies that people just don't want to go to work, and you guys seem to have changed that.
I think it's much harder for large companies. There's something about having 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 employees that makes it much harder to have a clear and consistent and well communicated vision. But I think for smaller companies, the only challenge is chasing the dollar, making sure you have people in seats to do the work. And cheaping out on hiring or cutting corners on hiring, that's the only risk. There is a problem with just having a bureaucracy. Like too many people, you're going to get the B team in, and then you get the C team in, and then it muddies culture and kills innovation and creativity and caring. But for small companies, if you just are really, really adamant about sticking to your guns and really only hiring people who are rock stars in every way, you can have a great culture of self-motivated people who don't need to be babysat or who are hilarious to work with and really, really talented.
Speaking of bigger organizations, there's been a lot of chatter about Marissa Mayer's decision to tighten up Yahoo's work from home policy. What's your view on remote working and its impact on company and culture?
I wanted her to be successful because I thought, what a bold move. What a bold, ballsy move by Yahoo to hire this really young woman out of Google, pregnant as all get out. I'm like, all she has to do is not sink the ship more, and it's like a raging success story. So good for them, good for her, really just exciting story. And then she started to get a little buzz. I'm like, holy crap, that's so amazing. That's really incredible. Like focus and vision and consistency and press and heat. Very excited. Huge misstep. And I get all the press about like we're weeding out the bad people. But at the same time, you're telling all your good people, you suck. I need to babysit you. You need to be babysat. You're not self-motivated. I'm a big believer in judging what people do, not how, when, or where they do it. I really think, the whole like RGA thing of autonomy, mastery, and purpose, you take away people's autonomy, you're telling them they're not worthy of trust. I think it's a big mistake. I am absolutely not a fan, and I'm a big believer of getting only A+ people and letting them run.
That was a pretty good answer.
That was a great answer.
It really bummed me out. Like I was very vocal, very vocal against it. I'm like, that is just so lame. Like I think Jason Fried of 37 Signals has written tons of books and blogs that are so much more eloquent than I could ever be, and he's right. It's just it just doesn't matter. You don't need to watch people like
Yeah, I mean they're trying to downplay it a little bit since I think they're just trying to say, well, we're really just trying to. There's a few people, like you said, but I think it does send a message.
No, it does. Here's the message: we have a lot of crappy people. You might be one of them.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Yeah,
That's
true.
what it says. And it's so like, commuting in that area is horrible. The loss of productivity. I know one of their things is people remotely don't innovate, right? Their whole thing is like remote teams don't innovate. You got to be in centralized locations to innovate. And the fact is this, companies don't innovate. People innovate. So find your tinkerers and get out of their way. They don't need to be in the office at a desk or in a cube to innovate. They just need a little bit of time within their normal sort of scope of work they can provide. But find your tinkerers, get out of their way, and don't tell them where they have to work. Just say, we want you to invent and explore.
So you guys have this intense 3 to 6 month air quote, no, let's not air quote it. Let's keep it regular quote, audition process. It starts with a cover letter, okay? Why are you making it so hard for me to get a job at Jellyvision?
There are 4 things we look for. Talent, work ethic, cultural fit, and good judgment. And I don't think that any of those things are best gleaned in that first date horror experience, a blind date of an interview. You can come in and the best bullshitters can talk about experience like it was theirs when in fact it was their teams or their bosses or their employees. And we really have this philosophy of show us your talent and we'll show you the kind of work we do and let's make sure we have a fit. At the same time, if you're above it all, if you're too good to do the work, we're a startup environment and we're really busy and people jump in and do the work. We're workers. Like people like to get their hands dirty in our craft. And if you're not willing to put yourself out there, if you don't have the humility to kind of say, hey, I'd like to see if this is a fit for me, you won't fit in culturally. So it's in part a screening mechanism for the divas.
That's good. Another good
Lots
answer.
of
And
divas out there.
I think anybody can fake a resume. And I truly believe in the good of people. I'm not thinking everybody's a liar, but I think resumes are easier to
Unless
fake.
you work at Yahoo.
Yeah, well, it's out there. No, it's out there. But I don't think you can fake a great original cover letter. And it's hard to write well if you aren't smart.
All right, so you're friends with Troy Henikoff, one of our past guests here, and
Great guy. Great guy.
Really great guy.
He's the best.
You've helped mentor people at his accelerator program, Techstars Chicago. What advice would you give companies just starting out?
A couple of things. The first thing is get the best co-founders you can find, as we've talked about. The early people are everything. The second is, and Troy, nobody's better at this than Troy, I think, in terms of having and cultivating a network. Take your idea to every smart person who will give you 5 minutes and get their suggestions. Have the courage to filter out that stuff that doesn't resonate with you, but don't be afraid to go to people in your industry and say, how can you help me? Who can you introduce me to? Because our first deals came through connections. We landed major Fortune 500 companies as partners through connections and networking in. So don't be afraid to take your idea and ask people to give you their thoughts, their leads, their connections, their advice. It's a great way to shortcut a lot of brute effort of sales and prospecting and marketing.
Everyone's tuned in today for one real question, and that is, what is your favorite bagel and how do you like it prepared?
Okay, there's not a favorite bagel. There's only one bagel, and that bagel is available from Bodo's in Charlottesville, Virginia. They come boiled. They're served always warm right off the boiler, and you get it with cream cheese, tomato slices, and onion. And that's all you need.
Wow. Dang. That was extremely specific and
It
awesome.
is, okay, most people will not know who that is because we're not in Charlottesville, Virginia, but anyone who's been to Charlottesville, Virginia has been to Bodo's, and they will be like, respect, word, that woman knows her bagels.
Dang.
Bodo's.
Solid.
Photos.
We need you on this show.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, Amanda, thank you so much for coming in and having a good time with us.
Thanks for having me, and guys, thanks for doing this. Thanks for giving more opportunities to entrepreneurs to talk about their businesses.
So if someone wanted to find out more about Jellyvision, where should they go?
Jellyvisionlab.com.
Filling in the gaps from Chicago is the White Mystery Band. Check them out on whitemysteryband.com or bitesoverbagels.com.
And that concludes episode 5 of Bites Over Bagels! Tune in next week where we'll be featuring an interview with
Maria Catras, CEO of Built In Chicago.
As always, you can check us out on the Facebooks and the Twitters. In addition, you can subscribe on iTunes for our new and noteworthy podcast. And finally, check out BitesOverBagels.com to get that promo code. You want to ride in a black car this week.
$15 off.
It's free.
Pimp.
Just don't go too far. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.